Greetings, tankers! Update 9.20.1 was released. It features new conditions and a fresh look for personal missions. British vehicles saw big changes. Specifications of tank destroyers and medium tanks were modified. The same applies to heavy tanks, and they have a substitute in the roster. Tier 10 light tanks were improved. The Type 59 got a second win. The Matchmaker now assembles teams by roles. Watch the update review for details. Update 9.20.1 brought significant changes to the look of personal missions. The general concept was updated as well. All missions in the first campaign were made easier. Now, a reward vehicle can be earned on a vehicle of the same tier. The previous interface worked well, was informative and clear, but it felt like bookkeeping. Now it looks more atmospheric. Several changes were made to the reward system for completing the 15th mission. Female crews stay, while commendations became a thing of the past. Now, when a player completes all missions in a set, they receive a vehicle component. To receive the reward vehicle, you need to collect the power unit, suspension, hull, gun, and radio. An order will be handed out for completing the 15th mission with honors. It possesses very interesting properties. Everyone encountered a personal mission that they weren't able to complete, and there was no way around it. Now, this isn't a problem. You can commit an order to a mission like this. The selected mission will be considered completed without honors. An order can be retrieved to be used again. To do this, the mission it is committed to should be completed with honors. It happens that you want to complete personal missions, but there is a vehicle type that you don't play with. Orders help you solve this issue. You can commit 4 orders to the 15th mission and receive the necessary vehicle component. These orders can also be returned by completing all the missions in a branch. The 15th one should be completed with honors. A player receives a reward vehicle and the Rank 2 badge for collecting all components. If a player completes all the missions of an operation, they will also receive a unique camouflage for it. For completing all the missions with honors, a player is awarded the Rank 1 badge, and camouflages will be available for all vehicles of the same nation as the reward vehicle. A player who completes all the campaign missions with honors will receive the Campaign 1 Champion Badge, together with the respect and admiration of their fellow tankers. Let's talk about vehicle changes. The vehicles from the alternative British TD branch and its top one, the FV4005 Stage 2, were not on par with competitors. That's why the branch was changed. The Challenger received a new gun with an average damage per shot of 280 instead of 150. Its turret rotates faster now. Not 360 degrees though, but 120 degrees. Now the vehicle can play the role of a classic TD in battle. Changes to the Charioteer were not as drastic. The depression angle of its guns were increased, up to 9 degrees for the first 2 guns. As for the top gun, the gun depression doubled from 5 to 10 degrees. Tier 9. The FV4004 Conway now drives and rotates its turret faster. Apart from this, it received an alternative gun with a damage per shot of 600 and a depression angle of 10 degrees. Players now have a choice of how to play with this vehicle. Either base your playstyle on damage per minute with the old gun, or play the part of the derp gun. Either way will allow you to accumulate experience for Tier 10. The FV4005 Stage 2, a formidable vehicle. It was supposed to be a dream vehicle for the enthusiasts of big calibers, but its dimensions and armor let it down. To smooth over these shortcomings, we installed a new engine on it. The gun depression angle is 10 degrees now. In addition, the gun dispersion caused by turret rotation was decreased. By the way, the rotation speed was increased, as were the traverse angles, and the vehicle can now carry 20 shells instead of 12. Now let's talk about British medium tanks. They had almost everything they needed to use landscape features to their advantage. Excellent guns, great depression angles, view range, and stabilization. They only lacked a strong turret. This fly in the specifications ruined the entire ointment. Now, the effective front armor on the turrets of the Centurion Mark I, Centurion Mark 7-1, and Centurion Action X starts at 240 millimeters. Do you see a hill? Feel free to use it. Finally, we got to heavy tanks for the United Kingdom. Tier 8 and higher vehicles were quite good. Only one problem: they were too different. They were equalized, and now they are versatile heavy tanks, with a playstyle similar to the Conqueror. The Carnarvon became slower. In return, it received improved armor and a new gun with higher damage per shot. Now it's really a heavy tank. The Conqueror also lost some of its mobility. Its turret rotates slower, and it fires less frequently. But all these sacrifices were not in vain. In return, it got improved armor on its turret and hull. It can now absorb damage with its hull sides. A substitute is coming to the British heavy tanks team. The FV-215B becomes a special vehicle. The Super Conqueror takes its place on the battlefield. The FV-215B's gameplay was significantly different to that of the previous vehicles in the branch. Because of the rear position of its turret, we decided to send it to the subs bench. The Super Conqueror, the new top of the branch, is a more normal and understandable tank. Its turret is located closer to the center of its hull. In addition, it's more durable than the FV-215B's. As for the gun, its aiming time increased slightly. But firing this gun brings the same joy as its predecessor did. Do you like the FV-215B and don't want to exchange it for anything? You don't need to. If you had it in the garage at the moment of its replacement, it stays there. Instead of 110, you'll have 2. Now, let's talk about premium vehicles. The characteristics of the legendary Type 59 were changed in Update 9.20.1. It has a great reputation, but its capabilities aren't the same. Since the Type 59 appeared in the game, many vehicles have been added with better armor, maneuverability, or firepower. That's why it was decided to revamp it. Now the Type 59's gun aims faster and is better stabilized. Firing on the move is now simpler, and taking a shot after stopping takes less time. The ammunition capacity was increased to 50 shells. The T-34-3's model was reworked, and its armor was improved. Its hull and turret became sturdier. Now it's as well protected as the Type 59. The gun is more convenient. Its aiming time was decreased, and its gun depression angles at the rear were increased. And the last bit of news from the world of Chinese medium tanks. Armor penetration was improved for the 59 Patton's armor-piercing shell to 212 millimeters. The Tier 10 light tanks proved themselves to be nice scouts, but their guns were mediocre. They got buffed. The ammunition capacity and average damage per shot for all types of shells were increased for the American Sheridan and French 13-105. The damage of AP shells is now 390 instead of the previous 360. The T-100LT now has more shells and is faster. The Chinese WZ-132-1 had just its ammunition capacity increased. The Rheinmetall Panzerwagen now has lesser average damage per shot, but better stabilization and aiming parameters, as well as a higher rate of fire and more ammunition. Its damage per minute has remained the same. In general, it was changed to perform the sniper role. Vehicle transition to HD quality continues. There are 16 renewed models in Update 9.20.1. They are detailed and beautiful. The Matchmaker has become more meticulous. It assembles the teams by vehicle types and roles of the vehicles within the types. For example, it distinguishes between the IS-7 and Mouse, or between the M46 Patton and a medium tank with an autoloader. The team should have roughly the same number of vehicles performing one or another role. Of course, their number may vary, but the difference won't exceed one vehicle. The roles for tank destroyers, heavy tanks, and medium tanks were specified for vehicles from Tier 8 to Tier 10. Light tanks and artillery don't require such classification. These vehicles have just one role to perform. And now we have good news for the hunters of improved equipment and directives. Bonds could be earned only on Tier 10 vehicles before the 9.20 update. Now it's possible starting from Tier 4. Starting from Tier 4, bonds will be given for two types of achievements: Epic Medals and Battle Hero achievements. The harder the achievement is to receive, the higher the reward will be. For example, you will receive more bonds for Kalabanov's medal than for Top Gun. This also depends on the vehicle tier. The achievement on Tier 10 will bring more bonds than the same achievement on the lower tier vehicles. The full list of rewards is published on the website. That's all for now. Good luck on the battlefield.